Hey guys, Cat Rose here, and welcome back to my channel. Sorry about the loud bell. This is a new collar I got from Molly, one of the other cat girls. I absolutely adore it. I will leave a link down below if you're interested in getting one. I definitely recommend it. I didn't know how big the bell. I know I said I wanted a big bell, but I didn't know exactly how big the bell was gonna be. But it's just like it's just like everywhere I go, I like sound like a little cat, which I am a cat, but still, it's just the fact that it's just like it's so big and the bow is like super huge. But I think it's cute. Um, but anyway, um, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here and subscribing. And I'm sorry about the absence. I was kind of dealing with a bunch of stuff that I'm not going to go into full detail when it comes to this video. I'm just going to be talking about downsides to modeling. Um, I am not signed at the moment. I didn't start out modeling professionally. I didn't start out modeling with an agency. It was kind of, I never expected to get into modeling. I mean, I always been told because of how tall I was, which technically to be on runway you have to be, I think you have to be at least 5'9" or something like that, or whatever. I guess I'm not super tall. I'm 5'7". I didn't realize that in the modeling world when you're doing fashion shows and stuff like that, that's not considered very tall. But anyway, when I was growing up, I was told I should always model since my legs were super long and I was super tall and super skinny and everything, and so people always told me I should. And so anyways, I was working in a mall in South Dakota, and there was a store that was doing they needed models for prom dresses, and I decided to put my name in for that, and they called me back, and then it was like a display kind of thing where you're in excuse me, sorry about that. No, I do not have the sickness. I just really nervous, so that's why I keep clearing my throat. It's kind of a nervous thing. But they needed models to model the prom dresses in the windows, kind of like a display sort of mannequin type thing. So we'd go there and we would go be in a pose, and then we wouldn't be able to move. And anyway, long story short, there was a photographer there that saw me and wanted to take my photo, and basically that's how it started up. One of the first major things I did after my first photo shoot, a major thing I did runway stuff. I did fashion shows and all of that stuff, and then that's kind of how it happened. I There was different photographers. There weren't that many down in South Dakota, so it was kind of hard getting out there doing that. So I didn't really get majorly into it until, I don't even know. I moved around a lot, so I mean, I don't really know. I've done modeling all over the place. Anyway, so that's how it happened. But I do get paid to model. I mostly specialize in nude modeling, and when it comes to um, nude modeling and anything else, when you're new doing that kind of stuff, unfortunately, the longer you do it, the longer you are in the industry, the more it's just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's really hard. I think a lot of people come into the modeling industry and they think it's going to be, everyone's going to be nice, and just because you're pretty, or what have you, that it's just everybody's going to want to take your photo, then you're going to start getting paid, and then it's just like going to blow up from there, and you're going to be on magazines and all this stuff. And it's not okay to have high expectations when it comes into modeling. And if you have high expectations, that's fine too. But I mean, it's rough being in. I've been in this industry for about 18 years, going on 19, and it's been challenging. I didn't make the right decisions. There are times where you never know who someone is until you shoot with them or you're in contact with them, because people can only do so much on the internet nowadays. You can have conversations and think that it's okay, and then you meet them in person and it's totally different. But there are upsides and there are downsides to modeling. And whether if you are a freelance model like myself or you're in an agency, you're always going to deal with good and bad people. I mean, now I have, I do have a lot of good friends and good, and I can't hardly talk when I do these kind of videos. I hate doing these kind because I feel like people are going to judge me and stuff like that. Anyway, I have really good photographer friends, really good people I work with, and people I feel safe with, and people that I can trust, and all that stuff. And, you know, I'm not trying to make this video to make people scared to get into the modeling industry or try and say bad things and everything. I'm just talking about my experience and what my opinions are. These are just my opinions. They aren't anything, you know, solid, solid kind of facts or anything like that. This is just my experience with it. You know, it has been a happy place and it has been a sad place. And I think that a lot of people should think about that. You know, whether if you get into modeling or you get into anything else, you're going to be dealing with things that aren't so pretty. You know, being a model, you have to have. That's why they always say that you have to have tough skin in order to be in the industry, whether if you're freelance or anything else, because you're going to deal with some not so nice people, you know, whether if it's not so nice models or not so nice photographers. No matter what you do, you're going to deal with that. And it's just like life. You're not, nobody's going to be your, not everyone's going to be your friend. Not everybody is going to be like, oh, you know, cool, like, nice to meet you. Like, you know, not everybody's going to be like that. And I think that being in this industry, I had to learn that. You know, I had to learn really hard lessons in my personal life, unfortunately, because I had made, you know, decisions to date photographers and mix business and pleasure. And unfortunately, you know, it just sometimes people do that. And, you know, sometimes a lot of models end up marrying their photographers or they date their photographers. And, you know, when you end the relationship, then, you know, it's not so nice. And so it's just, you really have to think about it. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to date a photographer because my boyfriend is a photographer, so I'm not saying that at all, actually. But just think about if the relationship ends, to make sure that you both are, you know, have these agreements and have all of this, so there isn't any bad blood or anything like that. Because then if so, then it's gonna be issues. You know, I've had to deal with some really bad stuff because of some bad decisions I'd made and some bad relationships I decided to get in. And, you know, and I had to deal with that. And so it's not so nice. You know, it's being a model. I really had to be tough, and it was hard for me I'm not really a people person and all that, and I'm not the most friendly, you know, and I'm not perfect, and I know nobody's perfect or anything like that, but you really have to learn when to, you know, confront something and when to not, and you know, be polite and all that stuff. And I had to learn, like I said, I had to learn some really hard lessons. I just wanted to make this video to understand that, you know, if you feel like if you get into a situation with, you know, a photographer or obviously I can't talk, with a photographer, or if you're a photographer and you get a situation with a model, and, you know, always speak up. I think that a lot of stuff gets mixed up when it comes to emails and when it comes to messages and everything, and a lot of stuff is in person, and then nobody sees any of the stuff, and they just see the stuff that was within emails and messages. And then, you know, nowadays it's the screenshots and it's the sharing of emails and it's the sharing of, you know, private conversations that happen between emails and messages, between, whether if it's between, you know, models and photographers, or the, you know, and it's just, it ends up, and especially if it's shared with people, then people start resharing it, and then it goes into rumors, and then it goes into all this stuff, and then it's not fair because there's two sides to every story. And I don't think that, you know, it's right for someone to judge off of emails, because a lot of stuff happens in person. A lot of stuff a lot of that stuff, I know I keep repeating myself, but a lot of stuff happens in person between two people, and nobody sees that, and they just see the messages, and then they just go off of that. And what I'm trying to say is that there are good and bad things of modeling, and I just want, whether if you're a model or you're a photographer, because bad stuff happens to photographers too, and I just think people should have more open communication, and there should just be more trust. And you definitely, especially if you're doing nude modeling, you have to have trust between model and photographer, because if there's no trust, then you're not going to be able to work well together, and then it's just gonna end ugly, and then you're going to have to deal with an uncomfortable situation. And I feel like when it comes to all these things, to just protect yourself, have the contract, the model and photographer contract signed, like protect yourself. Whether if you are a photographer or you are a model, you should be protecting yourself, and that kind of stuff should be on paper, so you don't have to deal with the ugliness. And I'm not going to go into detail of my personal experiences, because I feel like it's really one of those things that people that know me in person and everything, that's fine talking about, but I really don't want to talk about certain things when it comes out there all over the internet, because I don't feel like that's appropriate. But anyway, just be careful. If you're thinking about getting into this industry, like really, try and get an advice to try and join modeling groups, try and be aware of everything, stick with your gut. Like if you're having doubts before you do a shoot or anything like that, like just don't do it. I don't think photo shoots turn out the best, and you won't feel good, especially if you see those photos. You're just going to remember you didn't feel good about doing it. If you're not feeling like you want to do it, like just make sure and have that communication between, your model, if you're a photographer. But if you're a model and you need to have that communication between the photographer. I feel like this is a lot of rambling on. I do apologize, but I just want people to know that if you are thinking about getting into modeling, just have thick skin and go into it with no expectations. Protect yourself. Like, just really think about it, because it's not always the nicest place. I mean, I have enjoyed doing it, obviously, because I've been doing it for a while, and I do enjoy it, and it is my passion. But unfortunately, I had to pay for some mistakes that I had made, and some things I have done that I'm not proud of. And to this day, I wish I made different decisions. And it shouldn't have went down, but they're my decisions, and they're my mistakes. And I think that I have learned a lot, especially within this last year of, getting my life on track and getting my modeling career on track. And, it's unfortunately when stuff happens in the past, you have to revisit them. And, it's kind of something that's going on with me now. I have to revisit. But anyway, just the good and the bad. I don't know if I really said about the good stuff. I feel like I've just been talking about like the bad stuff right now. The good things is that you get to do fun photos. I mean, I have done some photos I thought I would never do. I mean, when I think about it and I think about my portfolio and I go through like really old photos, I'm just like, I don't understand why I did that. Like, it's like, oh, it's like cringeworthy. Like, I know like a lot of people probably like old selfies or anything they take, just like, ugh, like, but then again, I feel like that was a lot of my photos. Like, I'm really super picky, like, especially with selfies and stuff. I really don't like selfies, to be honest with you, because I feel like they're all like crap. Anyway, the upsides of modeling is that you get to meet so many different people. You get to work with so many different people. I mean, there's so many different photographers that I have worked with and I still work with to this day, and I like to see their visions, of what they want to do, and working with newer people and them wanting to learn. And because of the setup that me and my boyfriend have and all the different lightings and stuff, we get to experiment with so many things. And I think it's so like, I think it's fun, whether if you're taking the photo or if someone's taking your photo. I just think it's fun either, because it's like you have these ideas, and why not put it into a picture? And then you get to look at it and it's just like, oh, I did this, like, that's, you know, like, I feel like it's good memories for you, you know, and it's good to look back on. But you know, the experiences, especially if you get into professionally modeling or paid modeling, and you get to go to these different places, you get to go to these different states, you get to experience all this, you get free merch, you know, like, it's I think it's worth dealing with sometimes the bad stuff you have to deal with. I think it's worth it when it comes to the good stuff, because I have had so many good experiences counteract the bad ones. And I have been to New York, I have been to different states, and I have to, I'm scared traveling alone when it comes to modeling, but you know, you should always, speaking of that, you should always have someone with you when you travel and model. Uh, I'm not really good with good and bad stuff when it comes to videos. I don't even know what I was thinking making this video. Uh, anyway, yeah, just remember that there are good and bad things when it comes to modeling, and you know, just remember that when something bad does happen, you know, handle it the best way that you can. Make sure you're always protected. Um, and if it comes up, you know, sometimes things happen and we have to just deal with them, you know, as part of being an adult and being in the adult world, you know, whether if it's modeling or anything else, any kind of job. Something bad happens, you trusted the wrong person, or you made the wrong decision, or whatever it may be, you know, you have to do what you have to do. And if it comes down to it and things get really awful, and it, you know, it comes to you having to do what you got to do, that you have to do it, you know, because you have to look out for yourself. You can't just be like, oh, well, I have to just let this happen. No, it's never okay just to sit there and to let something bad just happen. And no, it's, you always need to protect yourself, whether if you are a model or you are a photographer. If you have to protect yourself, you have to do it. And that's my opinion. It may be bad. I may have people watch this video and be like, I can't believe you said that, or whatever. But you know, I'm just talking about my opinions and everything, and I'm not saying these are facts or anything like that. I'm just saying that this is my opinion of my experience, not anyone else's. But I feel like I needed to make this video to talk about that a little bit, and I'm sorry it's like probably running really long, but I think it's the longest video I ever made. Yay! But anyway, just remember that, and just again, for disclaimers, in case someone chops up this video or whatever, these are not facts. These are just my opinions. This is my experience in this industry of my 18 years. This is my opinions of the thing. This is my opinions of the good and the bad. You know, I may not have covered everything, and let me know down in the comments below if if there's anything that you needed to know, or anything about that, or want to know, or if you had more questions about my experiences, or just modeling in general, or just the good and the bad, or want references to photographers, or, you know, I'm in Colorado too. So, but yeah, if you have any questions for me, just leave them down below, or you leave me a message on my Instagram. Just let me know if you have any questions about that. Anyways, on a lighter note, I really like this color. I'm sorry about my ears. I didn't want huge ears today. I know the lace had fallen out of these ears. But anyway, I'm going to end this video here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.